count them out.
Well, you saw the Ford F-150 repainting the lines for this match. And we're underway, the lower semifinals. Rebel put on an excellent performance the last time they were on stream. In fact, at least me in the green room earlier, I was singing Jan's praises as he was a flip reset machine for his team that helped Rebel pole vault their way here.
He's trying to start off with that too. He's wasting no time, looking for more.
Everyone loves flip resets in this region. If you can get 2, 3, 4, they're going for the record. How many flip resets in a game, maybe? But it's fun. That's part of what makes, you know, Rebel and Noble so fun to watch. Is you got players on both sides of the pitch that love playing that highly mechanical style of play. Renan pushing that ball out to the right side, and Rebel going to try to push back in.
A lot of early pressure as well from Noble. This is really the first chance that Rebels had to get out of there. That's a great tip down from Jan, and oh my goodness. Talk about taking one away from the defense. Look at him get up the backboard here. Just knock it down.
Oh, finesse for Astromik. Rebel were doing that earlier today too. They're just getting more and more team-oriented and less reliant on the solo efforts, and I think that's why I started to really like Rebel after their last match today. And, well, Snip, he could not get the shot taken away. Haberkamper misses the clear.
A lot of space here for Renan, too. Curious to see what he does with it, and he doesn't waste any time. Straight towards the backboard. Works out with the boost steal, but Haberkamper's gonna, he wants that one back. He knows he missed that chance.
Oh, how many times does you actually get that touch that it just kind of flubs off your car? He's challenged again. This has been a pretty good push for Noble. Renan stealing the ball away here in the third. Haberkamper trying to set up a push for maybe Renan, but he had to take the ball himself, and Astromik gets another clear. But Firefox, I mean, he just sends it right back into the net. This is a good setup for Noble.
Oh, and Haberkamper looking for the pass into the middle, and here's a chance. Jan, oh, never mind. That was going to be a good chance for Rebel to really start applying some pressure, but that demo just going to kill any opportunity of them trying to push Noble back onto their own half. Haberkamper towards the net. Renan just missing the demo, and everything should reset here.
And Astromik gets the push down against the blue back wall. Oh, Renan's probably happy that he didn't have to touch that ball, and Haberkamper will force the ball to the orange half. We'll see if Noble can get set up, but they haven't had a ton of success on offense despite the 8 shots on net that they have before a half of game play is gone. Just not a lot of room for Noble to work with, and they have to retreat again. But the only route that Rebel seem to have is that side wall, and they still get challenged here in midfield.
Loving the speed out of the defense from Rebel. Not a lot of hesitation. They're not allowing passes to develop, and even if they do get towards the middle, they're always right on top of it, making contact with the play as soon as, you know, Noble is reaching it. So Rebel definitely playing very clean defensively.
Oh, Renan gives it to Firefox, who punches the first goal in for Noble. Renan sets him up.
Well, you can play clean all you want, but it's not going to matter when you get this look. Firefox, talk about drilling one into the top. I mean, you know the shot's coming on defense. Make no mistake, they know something's coming at them. It's just a matter of, does it have the placement and the power to get there? Well, at 76, absolutely.
They'll get there most times. Astromik missing that first touch. And the challenge game continues to be a struggle for Rebel if they want a continued push on offense. There's Jan trying to create an opportunity with a flip reset, but again, the challenge knocks his opportunity away. This is pretty brutal for Rebel. They keep running into cars and face stalwart challenges from Noble as they try to push downfield.
Quickly working back out, though, and Firefox actually in kind of an awkward spot, and that's nice support there from Haberkamper to make sure that ball went out to a neutral area.
Well, this has been, well, Astromik trying to get around to the backside. I was about to say that it's been extremely defensive, and neither team has given bad ground up, if you will. The back wall and the clear potential of both teams has been met. Maybe it comes down to that first mistake, as it often does. And Snip trying to set Jan up with something here. Astromik's going to play him close by. He's by Firefox. Haberkamper plays it back out.
Oh, and Renan trying to get creative there. Wanted to punch that ball off the sidewall to beat the defense. Firefox actually does just that. Astromech, he can't afford to miss, and that is an excellent clear. Actually up to Snip. They have the support in there. Unfortunately, Renan the first one to it. And Noble gonna fight off another Rebel counterattack that just doesn't quite have the legs behind it to find any real success.
Well, Renan happy that that corner boost spawned for him because 2 players on Noble were sitting on 0 boost. If they had played around any farther, the ball might have been in the back of the net. But as time expires in regulation, Noble would like to end it there. Ooh, Habercamper, quick touch to Renan, and they're going to start. The steal by Astromech. Oh, he's going to be given the space. And Snip, he comes around to the side, but Renan beats him to the ball. Still, this can be a chance for Rebel. No, Snip can't get to the ball. Astromech, does he have a play to Jan? He does, but nobody's in the area. Oh, the transition back to Habercamper. High off the backboard. Here comes Firefox, and it's denied by Snip. Long clear for overtime.
Both teams really playing with fire there, I think. Noble giving initial space to allow Rebel to have a chance to put one in towards the end of regulation, and then, Renan off the crossbar at the start of overtime.
Oh,
Noble so close so many times, and Rebel just not many opportunities to speak of.
Next time Renan gets the ball in that kind of situation, watch out if you're Rebel. Firefox can't quite shovel that ball away from Astromech, and Renan just comes in and destroys the first man on Rebel, but the ball comes back to Noble territory. On point Firefox, and again, met by more midfield presence from Rebel. The challenges have just been too solid. It's been hard to get anything set up for any amount of time. Astromech set up against the back wall, and again, Snip has to wait from midfield to play it.
And you're right about them, getting met, but at the same time, they're running a lot of disruption. Jan trying to finish the game right there. Didn't quite have the command to stick close to that one and turn it in, but in general, while Noble is going, at least neutral and sometimes losing, across the board, they tend to be pushing Rebel off the ball as well, which is allowing them to catch back up to the play. Let's see what Renan can do here. Dumps it off in the middle for Firefox. What's left-hand side? Jan on the corner, going to kick it out to safety, and Snip needs a little help to find this clear.
Oh, I thought that pass was sick, and I thought Firefox had the angle, but then Jan was able to hop up and pick up the save. Woo! Rebel have 4 shots on net achieved, compared to the 12 from Noble. Yep. Yet Noble have been unable to find shots like that they just had. Here's Renan again, but Jan expertly shadows him back to the corner.
Oh, nice touch, but no one there, just not in position. And again, they've given up space to Rebel when if they're just willing to take a little bit more of a risk, you feel like Noble can really press a big advantage.
No, Firefox, good catch. Astromech was waiting for that, so if that ball bounced off of him, it was going to be right towards the net. But Noble have also been strong on defense. Nice catch from Renan, but Jan's all over him. And so nobody moves anywhere. We're locked here in this battle between thirds. Habercamper swings across to throw it back to Noble territory. And Renan able to win another challenge, but just nothing happens. You think it's going to develop, but then a challenge kills a drive for either team. But Jan finds the seam, and Astromech converts. Overtime belongs to Rebel.
This game all about quality over quantity. Jan finally able to sneak one over the top of Noble, and I was saying if Noble's willing to take a little bit more of a risk, things might turn out better, and that's exactly what they tried to do right there. Just so happens that in that one instance, they're not on time for the challenge. Rebel gets it over their heads, and they will win game 1.
I mean, you might look back to that Renan attempt at the beginning of overtime. His potential shot
off the bar,
off the crossbar. And there was a couple opportunities like that for Noble. I mean, you had so much offense, so many pushes. Firefox had a couple of shots, and Jan was in the way every single time. I felt like I was saying his name every time they needed a save. Excellent work from him. And obviously, Snip and Astromech absolutely provided a lot of value to this match, but wow, what a defensive stand from Rebel.
Yeah, this really was the defensive showcase from Rebel, but at the same time, it felt that just Noble wasn't willing to go up there and try and stick the ball on a car and force a demo, or at least take a pass away from the defender, get it out into the midfield, away from that net, out of the corner, off the wall. And they just never had the opening to really, like you said, because of that strong defense, always meeting them right at those points of contact and getting that ball back out into neutral space. And even if they couldn't keep up the pressure and find the clear, Rebel was never in too much danger defensively, except for, like you said, that one chance at the start of overtime where it just pinged off the crossbar.
Well, there are plenty of ways to break through a stalwart defensive rotation. Which way will Noble pick to break through Rebel's line? And I was going to start here with Habercamper. Firefox gets the bump. Habercamper misses off the crossbar, and Astromik gets the clear for Rebel. Oh, transition. Is that in? Oh, it's blocked by Renan, who floated in the air to pick up that save.
Yeah, had to hit that backflip as soon as he came off that wall to stall his momentum and keep himself in position. That is not an easy play to make off a snap, decision that must be made about where a shot can go. So very well played defensively to keep that one out.
Now, Jan doesn't have to do much after he let that ball drop in midfield. Nice. They were just given the space for free, and Rebel punish.
Yeah, I like how you could see Snip on his approach here, really understanding that Firefox overdrove that ball. Because as soon as he sees Firefox go too far to the right, he knows the shot's open all the way to the left, so his approach is just lined up for that all the way. And Firefox knew he gave it up too. He tried to get back to it, but it was all just about, do you get far enough around it? Snip, yes, he did.
And it was just the space that was given in that situation. Like, someone's got to be there to challenge that for Noble. Like, Firefox pulls off the ball. Habercamper didn't really have the best angle at it. That kind of situation that's going to kill you if you're not careful. Noble. And there, a tight rotation. Firefox loses that challenge. That could be bad news, but Rebel able to play that ball out to the corner. Habercamper all over him. Jan gets up first, though, and plays it back to the opposite side.
And that's good pressure here from Noble, but it's all about how you hang on to it right now. And see Habercamper, that touch needs to go out to the left to Renan instead of down to Jan, because now they have to keep fighting for the ball here.
Well, they've gone laterally like the last 4 times the ball's been challenged. Finally, they find something in front of the box, but Rebel's rotation has been the same as it was in game 1. Renan able to find the seam again. Firefox, no. It's saved by Jan, but can he do it again? Habercamper, one off the backboard, and Firefox is met by Jan. Slow getting to it was Renan, and Rebel get there clear and shot blocked by Habercamper.
Close call, and I think you're absolutely right. We've been saying a lot of Jan's name on defense. He's getting a lot of these critical touches, having to make some tough saves. And if they can just get him out of the equation, Noble might have a little more success.
Now Renan flicking it around Astromik, and I think you're right. It has to be a demo or a bump or something, right? Because he hasn't really missed yet.
Yeah, Jan has not made a mistake on defense yet.
He's looked strong in this tournament. And talking to Dex and Shamako, they were surprised, or at least Dex. I won't put words in Shamako's mouth, but Dex was surprised at how well Jan was playing because he wasn't performing at this level in previous tournaments. So he's coming up big time in the major for Rebel and might be able to carry them a little bit farther. It's holding right now with this 1-0 lead, and another shot on net, but blocked by Renan.
And they get that boost here, and they might have caught. Oh my gosh!
Wait! Oh, it might still work, Renan!
No, exactly. They catch Jan out. They stole that boost from in front of Jan, but they dropped the transition. It slowed down. You could see when he lost that ball off his nose, he had to backflip to stay with the momentum and not overshoot the ball. That gave Jan the time to make it all the way back and make that stop.
So even when he's wrong, he's right. And here he comes again off the backboard, but didn't have the boost. Astromik tried, but again blocked by Habercamper, who is Noble's Jan, if you will, as third man on the goal line, picking up another save for his team. 3 total in the game. Astromik, hard shot that Renan picks up on the save off the backboard. Another shot off the crossbar and in. Snip gets 2 for Rebel.
That guy just doesn't like to miss, does he? Whenever he gets this nice uncontested look or he knows he's got a good shot at it, he puts it at the right spot. That's a perfect bounce. The defense actually played that perfectly, considering how much space they allowed. And Snip hit the perfect shot to beat them with a bounce, just to delay it, to let him go on by first.
Yeah, Snip has had some success being that go-ahead man downfield. Either receive those passes or just almost come out of nowhere from the sides when Noble are expecting something else or, be able to challenge the ball. Here comes Snip in your face, but Renan shot! Sneaks right into the top corner, and Noble finally on the board.
Sneaks is the right word. This was a small gap to put this one through. Astromik was with it all the way, but he got just enough. That's well controlled out of the midfield from Firefox to get that one out to Renan, and that was a surgeon's touch required to make sure that one had enough on it at the right spot to get there.
Noble need a little bit more. Firefox, not the most productive. And Renan is just forced to do 360s until the ball comes back to him. But the rotation right now for Noble is not ready for some quick follow-ups, and that's allowing Rebel to push forward here. Astro Mick. Does he get the goal here somehow? No, Firefox comes across. I saw him jump up. I saw the ball. The math was working in my head.
I mean, at this point, with how much we've seen out of these two teams, I believe it. Somehow, some way. But Habercamper with a little bit of space here. Snip quick to close the gap. But actually, Noble really starting to get kind of jammed into this corner.
Ooh, Firefox, tough spot. Going up that ramp could be deadly, but he grabs two hard shots and takes it out for Noble on a clear. The follow-up from Renan, he just straight up lost that challenge to Jan. But Habercamper gets lucky off the whip, and Renan bodies that player out of the net. Noble tie it with 12.
Oh, Astromic. I mean, he just straight whiffed that ball. No excuse. Came at it too fast, and he sailed right on by. Left his teammate in a 2-on-1, and to make matters worse, wasn't even able to have a chance at it because of the bump.
What a play. That bump came in at the perfect time to score. Now Firefox are going to steal it with Renan. It's off the post and out. Crossbar saves Rebel. A loss here if they can get the ball on the ground. They do it, Chiefs. Holy moly. Overtime.
You're kind of putting your hands in your face if you're Rebel right there. You know you gave this one up. This one should have been done and dusted, or at least they should have had to work a lot harder than they did to get to overtime, but you can't think about that now. You got to figure out how to stop Firefox. Astromic making sure to make contact there. And Jan, I actually don't really like that touch. It's going to put his team on the defensive for a little bit.
Ooh,
it's going to lose him the game.
Oh, Firefox punishes Rebel in a very similar fashion to what happened to them in game one, but Firefox finesses it to the center of the net off of that missed touch from Jan that you were talking about, Achieves.
Yeah, I think looking at that one again, it looked like Jan was trying to pop that ball all the way out to the sidewall to maybe look for a transition because he had a teammate driving up that wall to go and try and find a clear, but ended up getting too far in front of it, kind of tipped it straight up. They smashed it off the corner, and Jan just didn't have enough time to recover and really have that good approach to get that second block. So finally, Jan makes a mistake, and indeed, they got punished for it.
You can't bank on that forever. I think that, like Noble, they still feel disjointed at times, but they were able to string more plays together as a unit, and it started so strong for Rebel too, and you thought, okay, here it goes, more defense, but then Firefox gets that touch in midfield. Habercamper gets the set after Jan's misplay, and Noble were able to punish Rebel. So if that can happen again, great, but we've had 2 overtimes in 2 games so far, Chiefs, so you know how it goes.
I think game 3 is an absolute toss-up. I think, Jan still is playing great defense, but at the same time, I'm not sure if Rebel can really continue to rely on having Snip have these nice, clean, solid looks at the net and just trust him to put a strong shot on target and make it work out. But at the same time, you don't know if Noble really has the firepower on offense. And I imagine we're going to pause and reset here. This one,
this one will get the reset. And
everyone did just kind of stop.
Yeah.
But until we get confirmation, we will play as normal. So assume a kickoff goal there.
1-0 Rebel, 4 seconds in. And there we go. Everybody stops playing. So we'll get things figured out. Yeah. Absolutely. But for this lower semi, I think it's met the expectation of that 60% to 40% chat difference on who would win this match. And we've seen, if Rebel are playing perfectly, I don't know if Noble can beat them because Noble's goals were just reliant on those mistakes from Rebel. And with the way they've played defense, it's hard to think that that's going to stop.
Yeah, you really have to see Noble find the ability to get those demos, and we are going to remake the server here, so give us a couple minutes and we will continue with this lower semifinal, because the next one's lower final. I gotta get the bracket straight in my head. Man.
There's a lot of finals: semifinal, quarterfinal, final, grand finals, lots of finals. But yeah, we'll get this server back up and get you guys back into the game as soon as possible. But we're all tied up and going at least 5 in this set, and the winner going on to play Novus, who just lost to True Neutral in 6. But I think that both of these teams are showing some good signs if they're going to make it to the grand finals. If you're going to beat Novus and True Neutral, I think we're seeing the makings of it, at least, from both teams in strides, if you will.
Yeah, you really do, I think, have your work cut out for you ahead. And I think whoever ends up winning this series, they want to feel like they played well. They don't want to feel like they had to struggle, because Novus was actually looking quite good against True Neutral. It was just the series got out of hand a little too early, I think, for them, and they just didn't have the time to bring it all the way back. So if you're going up against Novus in that lower final, you really want to feel like you walked into that lower final ready to go, and like you're like, yeah, we crushed those guys, we're playing well, because you don't want to have any doubt in your mind. And if you're struggling here, you don't want to put that doubt in your mind of, ooh, I don't know, this one's going to be tough. You want to feel like you can just crush them.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I feel for Noble, because they got sent down here by Novus, and where, how can you feel confident about your play if this is just a scrap and you can't really get anything going? Establishing that confidence is such a crucial part of this part of the run, because this is where the marathon starts.
Here's the grind,
in the lower semis. It might be match after match after match. Like, it is a grind down here, and so you have to have a resilient mentality to be able to pull through from this stage of the journey.
Yeah, because we just saw it in the previous major with OCE. You go down into that lower final or from the lower bracket from today, and all of a sudden you've got to play at least pretty much 2 hours of Rocket League Plus, and that's really taking a drain on your mental stamina to continue to play at that top level and not be, you can't afford to not be locked in. And when you have to play for so long, it's tough to stay at that peak performance and locked in for so long. So
yeah, it
really is the grind once you hit the lower bracket. I believe, as Wavepunk said, it's team bad day when you go down the lower bracket.
That's certainly true. There's a certain type of nervousness that comes with it, but I don't think Jan's feeling it. I think Jan is energized by the
he's
lower
cruising.
bracket. It's pretty great. And talking to Shamako and Dex about the different South American players and how they've looked over the course of the season, we've seen it in North America and Europe that some teams just hit different in the playoffs. There's something about the playoff atmosphere, even online. Like, there are teams that just perform well when the stakes are higher. And Jan might be one of those players that just performs better when the stakes are higher. Certainly, all of the amount of practice that Rebel have been getting to this point aids in that effort. But at the same time, to play the way he's playing, a couple steps above really, is definitely, it's impressive, is really what I'm getting at. And we're getting into this next game. We appreciate your guys' patience at home, but the server is good. Everyone is ready to go, and we're going to hit the pitch to get game 3 underway. Both games went to overtime, and each team split those games. So who will take the third game in the match as we get started? Well, as soon as we hit the pitch, we'll find out. I have a feeling we got a couple more overtimes in store, Chiefs.
And I'm feeling like if you want to see Noble's offense light up, it's actually going to come on the back of Havercamper. We were talking about how he's been kind of playing that defensive role, but I think a big part of it is how he's able to get that ball into his teammates' hands on the way out of their own half. It's going to be important to their success.
Snip is going to start this push, or attempt to start it for Rebel. Astromik gets some space. Renan does pull off on that play, but he knew he had the time and was able to get that ball out to Havercamper. But if last game is anything to go by, there might be a long battle in between the thirds for possession. Noble trying to establish themselves in midfield here. Nice little move from Renan. Couldn't quite cleanly get that cut he wanted. But now Havercamper was waiting for a little bit, then decided, okay, well, I'm just going to at least go up and make you think I'm going to challenge you. And Renan's able to push forward, but Rebel are starting to get locked into their own half here.
Yeah, it feels like the repeat of game 1 early on in that first minute. Noble pressing, but not really having too many strong opportunities. And Rebel will see how long their push over onto the blue side lasts. And I wouldn't be surprised to see more of that, too. Noble was starting to get just stuck in their own corner for a little bit in the previous couple games.
Firefox has a little bit of space, but again, Jan's got the backboard covered, and a quick transition for Astromik off the crossbar, and he couldn't get back to it, but Jan wins the touch. Snip, bad angle for him to get to, and Renan, well, he actually kills that back pass, and Astromik's all on top of him, blows through one player, hits square through Habercamper, and Renan gets the clear.
Real critical touch there from Renan. Doesn't matter if you give up possession here, you needed time to reset on defense, and actually, they've managed to at least have a challenge ready in the midfield, so couple of chances there for Noble to reset the offense, and Snip able to sneak one through, but not able to get it out to a scoreable position. And Rebel continuing to try and find ways.
Oh, that miss might punish Noble. Habercamper couldn't quite hang on to it. Luckily for him, Snip couldn't punish. No breakaway really for Noble, but a chance to get set up. Firefox swings around for the boost steal, and Habercamper just lets that ball go. He wasn't in the spot, and you know, some say to live life dangerously on the edge, Chiefs, and I think Habercamper is a mantra of his.
Yeah, that play worked. He did get the touch to clear, but I think he really did make it a lot harder on himself, as Habercamper going to dodge the demo from Astromik and make the stop. Firefox and Renan kind of get tied up in their own corner, and that's a big demo over on the other side, but the important part about it was that it gave Renan free reign to get that ball all the way onto the orange half and give Noble a chance, at least, at trying to hang on to the ball.
Renan really wants to make this ground game work, doesn't he? Anytime he gets some space, he wants to utilize those ground mechanics, outwit Rebel on the ground.
And that's what we were talking about early on in game one, you know. It didn't feel like they had the firepower, and they needed extra ball control to give themselves some extra time to develop things, but here they missed the clear off the backboard. Look at Jan, he's just got all the time in the world. Firefox can't get there. Renan misses the clear, and Snip's just kind of jumping like, well, maybe. And he's right. He got it right.
You never want to be in that position as a defender, to jump up and say, maybe. Oh, man. Jan sends it forward again. For Noble, though, the offense has not really been as productive as it was in game number one. Snip all over Renan's attempt on the ground.
Oh, he was so close to executing that hard flick over to the right side, as they're going to pull Astromik off the line. And you're right, Renan really is trying to stick that ball close, give themselves options, and options are what win you games. Options are how you scare defenses to death.
Freeze them in net while trying to make a save. Rebel trying to do just that to Noble right here. Firefox gets one touch, but it's not going to stop Rebel just yet. That might. Good clear here. Renan keeps it close. Can't quite snake around the ball, but Habercamper gets a touch over one. Where does the play start for Noble, or do they just win the war of attrition through challenges alone? Well, Renan has to take it back to his own corner to try again. Clean angle to Firefox on target, and the laser was saved by Jan.
Strong shot from Firefox, but you're right, the shot from just too far away, too much time to react to the power, and look at this. They actually slow down their own counterattack too. I mean, if they just get one guy on a dribble, cut hard left, you've got a 2-on-1 recipe for success right there to secure this game, but instead, you're only up by one with 30 seconds. Make it two, never mind.
Got him.
Look at this. Look at this. There's two people spread out on both sides. Habercamper's playing support for Renan, and Firefox over on the other side is ready for the pass across, neither of which comes through, which means the middle of the field is wide open.
Why is the ball over my head? Is likely the thought going through Noble's head right now. Why is the ball in the net? Rebel are likely thinking on the kickoff. 3-0 now for Rebel, all but assures a Game 3 victory.
Yeah, ball's in your net because they won the kickoff, and it kicked left, and Renan expecting either that ball to go further towards the sidewall or at least just not be straight lost one way or the other. Just like that, this one well out of reach for Noble.
No, just when you thought Noble were finally going to start to grab the reins and maybe start to put together some consistent efforts on offense, their shots have petered out. Astromik sends a banger off the crossbar and into the net. Look at this one.
Now this is a tight one too. Jan just lifts that one across, you know, the pitch, and Astromik comes at it from the opposite side. Do you know how hard it is to square that ball up so that when you're coming at it from the opposite direction, it goes into the other side of the net?
Wait. On a scale of 1 to own goal, how hard is it?
That's like own goal +5. Like,
oh wow.
It's a nice shot.
Well, certainly nice shot. Astromech and Rebel take the series lead 2-1. So Noble achieves. I'm just going to ask you the pointed question. What is happening? What do they got to do? They're getting crushed right now.
It's the support, you know? We're talking about you need more control on the ball. They're getting that. So it's twofold. It's one, the support, and two, the execution. You know, I think Renan is doing a nice job, you know, getting those touches down and sticking close to the ball, but he's not really executing on his ability to get that ball into a scoreable position, and they don't have a contingency in place for that when that's happening. So it's allowing a lot of pressure to be let off, and they just get the ball cleared on them. So you're really looking for, one, either Renan to execute, or two, you need to be playing tighter support and stick a little closer to him so you can go in there and jam that ball in the same spot and give yourself a second opportunity. Otherwise, it's really just letting Rebel off the hook.
Rebel carrying their momentum into the lower semis and maybe the whole way to the lower final. But we got some heavy towing to do, Achieves, and the Ford F-150 is going to bring us that here for this next game. Who can Rebel take this to match point? Or can Noble at least force 6 starting here? We'll see if the offense can pick back up.
Oh,
remember, off the bar, and oh my goodness, it always looks that close, doesn't it? Noble, keep it out.
Oh, but they actually might have something here. If Renan can get this one into the middle, that's a great touch, and look, see, now Firefox is doing the right thing. He's playing tight support for Renan, but now no one's in position to actually shoot the ball when it gets there. They stop the counterattack, but it's just like you've got all the pieces of a puzzle, but it's like you don't know exactly where to put each puzzle piece.
You lost
to
one
put
of the
it all
corner
together.
pieces.
And you're just like, where is it?
Exactly.
Why is it not working?
You know, it sucks when you lose one of the corner pieces because you just don't know where all of those other pieces go. It's like, I don't know if this is on the edge or not because we don't have any frame of reference. That's how Noble feel right now. Firefox up and Jan again out of the goal line. Just explosive for that clear potential, and has gotten Rebels a lot of quality transition opportunities. Here he is back as third man to become the first to push downfield.
Oh, that's not actually a bad move from Habercamper. Renan can, oh, bye-bye, that's a goal. We'll see ya. Look at the break check here from Renan.
Oh,
he
man.
Just crushes this man.
Oh, the challenge for Firefox. Oh, no. You might have to go back to the garage. I think there's something wrong with his octane.
Yeah, for real.
Oh my. But Renan's he's been trying for that. He wants the ground game to work. He's going to go to it. He's clearly comfortable with it, and he finally got a fake he wanted. Got to watch out for him on the ground. We'll see if Rebel keep a closer eye on him on the pitch, because he's able to win a lot of those ground flicks when Rebel try to challenge him. The only difference is everything else just hasn't worked, as you were pointing out earlier. Achieves battle in midfield right now for possession. Noble might be the one to score again. Firefox can't quite nail the flip reset. Habercamper just buys some time for Renan to rotate around and play it back in. Oh, the bump here. Habercamper was unsure how that ball was going to bounce. Then left grounded, now in a tough position as the back man, but he all reliable on the goal line, able to shovel that ball back out. Now here's Renan in front, pops it over Snip, and the save is good by Jan, but here comes Habercamper. 1, 2 into the net, and 2 for Noble.
They're giving me a heart attack, Noble. They're double committing for this one, and I'm like, oh boy, you guys are really asking for it, but it doesn't matter if you double commit as long as you score it. Habercamper, nice little touch to himself off the backboard, and that's 2-0 Noble up early. Can they hold on to it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I wasn't completely convinced with Rebel after that last game. Sure, you win that one 4-0, but most of this has been that, that cycle, the tick-tock, if you will. One team dominates, and then the other team can do the same back. But there's plenty of time for Rebel to equalize, just like Noble did a couple games ago. Jan sends it forward, and there was a gap. Habercamper closes it tightly.
Nice pass, but Astromech, that's so smart. Not trying to get greedy there and try and force a shot, but just let that one come down and see if you can get that ball back over the middle, but they lose control. And Firefox, he's on a bit of a light jog up the middle.
Oh, that's the worst place to be as the third man on defense, where you're in that the no man's land. Should I challenge? Should I go back and wait and receive the ball? You're in that one spot on the pitch where you don't know. And so you just pick and then you lose. Firefox, excellent job to score that third goal for Noble. And maybe another one here. It's been a complete flip in game number 4. With 2 minutes remaining, only 5 shots on net for Rebel. Well, I say only, but Noble have also only had 6. The difference is 50% shot accuracy as a team.
Yeah, that'll make a big difference in terms of the scoreline, for sure. And right now, Rebel kind of scratching their heads because it really doesn't feel like they've done anything, terribly wrong. Even that last goal they gave up, when it's like, sure, you get caught out of position, but they at least, made a decision and stuck with it, and it just forced Noble to beat them. And so Noble coming up with the execution, it would seem, finally in this series when they definitely need it.
Oh, Jan wins a nice 50. Astromik creates some space. Snip shot's a little high. Haberkamp will be able to play it up, but they need some consecutive touches here to get the ball out. Jan makes that difficult, and Renan sends it high, but Astromik's there to meet. And Jan looks for a bump. He finds nobody. Astromik again doing everything he can to work this ball in front of the box. Unsuccessful, but Snip does so. And Jan just has to wait onto the ground. Rebel looking for a hole through this Noble
nice
defense.
Control.
Renan on the back, but Jan one touch and 2 on the flip reset. Renan was stunned and Haberkamper comes in to support.
Jan ran out of boost. He had that all the way. The control he had was phenomenal, and he wins a big challenge here in front of the net. And that's an awkward pinch, and Snip not able to muscle it through somehow. Noble pulls that one off the goal line. Rebel putting together a couple of excellent looks at the net, but for some reason, no pay dirt.
It's Haberkamper, man. 4 saves on net. Renan with a couple of crucial touches on the backboard. Firefox coming in when Renan and Haberkamper can no longer provide any sort of line on defense. It's been perfect in front of the goal line, but it doesn't matter because with 5 seconds left in scoring, it's all but over here.
Unlikely, certainly possible though. It took them the 4-minute 55 track to get that one on the board at long last, but you really do feel like Rebel at least deserved one. They really were playing some excellent offense throughout this one, and unless this one goes in right now, it's indeed over.
It's it's almost like flip reset double taps are hard. Who would have thought?
I mean, the only reason Jan didn't score that one above that net is because he ran out of boost. He had that all the way.
You have to be perfect.
it was all about controlling that ball as he took it up the wall because both of his teammates were out of position. So he's in charge of buying time. And if you catch that ball a little too chunky, it's going to get out of control real quick. But Jan definitely has that level of control required, and it's just a shame that he didn't have the boost to turn it into something truly special.
He almost got it. Jan's been all over the highlight reel over the entire weekend, and he might have a couple more in store before this semi is over. But it was just nothing but success for Noble on the backside. Renan with that fake. We had just it was a brutal beatdown, and even though Achieves you're scared, Noble got your back, and Haberkamper on defense, man. 4 saves and a 5th that went unregistered. The dude has been clutch on defense for Noble, and you need somebody like that on that end of the field when Rebel can put on that onslaught of offense that they did at the end of that game.
Yeah, you're right, especially at the end of that one. You needed to feel secure in your victory, so they tie up the series 2-2, and I do not know what to expect here. Game 5. I mean,
those are the best games.
Because
you're scratching your head, and when you're scratching your head, I'm concerned. Okay, you're supposed to have all the answers, man.
Well, it's because I'm still not really sure if Noble have really cracked the secret code, or
right.
if it was just did they happen to get a couple of goals or not. You don't feel like that consistency and the ability to execute is really there yet.
Physicists everywhere are lending their support to help you out in your effort to figure out how this match is going to go. But the easiest way is to watch it unfold before you. 30 seconds in, game number 5. Both teams now vying for that sweet match point position. Nice catch from Jan. Nothing really developing here for Noble. Rebel have been so good at shutting down those options and creating opportunities like these. Even if it's a little disjointed, eventually they find their way through. Too committed from Noble for the save. Jan, another catch. He wants to push it towards the box, but Habercamper flies in for another save. It's not quite over, but Firefox may have stopped that push for a second. Here comes Jan again, but it dies here as Noble grab control.
Yeah, it feels like Rebel starting to stretch a little bit and trying to make touches to see if they can beat a defender without really having a solid follow-through chances. Habercamper just trying to keep things stuck in the orange half, but I think this one's also going to run out of steam.
Oh my, that was 3 levels of mind games going on there. Both teams were like, okay, he's going to push it up, or no, he's going to fake, and then nobody hits the ball. They just miss it by a couple inches.
Oh yeah,
Jan.
Acting like he had boost with a big fake.
It's so clean. When he's been playing as clean as he has, he demands that respect on the pitch. So that just makes fakes that much more deadly with players like Jan. But Habercamper finds a loose ball that Jan has to put up high. And Renan can't quite keep that ball close, so this ball's back out to Rebel corner.
A lot of space to clear that one away, but unfortunately for Noble, not really able to make touches that really allow them to maintain possession. Habercamper, you need to get up there and challenge for that ball. You can't just keep letting Rebel jam that ball back into your corner.
Astromik, nice catch underneath, tried the scoop, but could not grab all the ball, and Jan will place it back in Noble territory, but this has been a struggle to stay onto the ball. You're seeing more and more fakes from Rebel just to try to find an opening. Habercamper gets in the way, and whoo, that's not a back pass you want, but Renan takes it off that challenge.
the rail gun straight at your net out of nowhere, and you're just glad someone's in position.
Even your finger's surprised it reacted in time. Well, another challenge. Oh, everything is just met in the air now.
This
It
one
is
is
impossible to push.
This one's the real battle of attrition. This is the don't make the mistake because you're gonna lose.
Oh, it might be here. Oh, quick turnaround from Snip. He saw Firefox, but he grabbed the ball anyway. Feathers the boost to get another touch, but the rest of Noble were sitting back towards midfield. Astromik starting to find his way through the air dribbles, and Jan gets the boost steal off of that win on the challenge. Snip. Oh, I thought he had the push. He did, and Renan scoops it off the back wall for another save. Astromik has nothing here, but Rebel are so fast to the ball in the challenge. Noble cannot hang on to it. All they could do is challenge it. Now Renan left by himself, and he lost. Snip wins the race. Rebel get the goal.
Surprise, surprise. This one kind of out of nowhere. It's that demo from Astromik on the way out that makes the difference, and Renan just has trouble reading that bounce. He couldn't tell if it was going to hit off the corner or off the sidewall, so he kind of took an approach angle on the floor to give himself a chance at both, and he just picked the wrong side, was favoring the other one a little too much, and couldn't get up to it.
Nice challenge again from Astromik. Jan sends it flying.
That might be
but Firefox can receive it. Oh, good challenge. Habercamper. A lot of space. Renan opts not to go for it. Collects the boost instead, and Firefox was left a freebie again. He's always behind these free balls in front of Rebel's box. And they're punished again.
Because Astromik just randomly backflipped. I think he was definitely the person who was supposed to be going for that ball. He just backflipped on accident. The unfortunate mechanical mishap gives an open shot for Firefox, and yeah, he smashed that one, that's for sure.
Oh, grabbed again here by Habercamper. They've needed him again, but Firefox. Oh no, he's not there! Snip puts it into the top, and Rebel steal the lead right back.
They all get caught hanging out on the left side of the pitch there, and when that ball takes the surprise cut back across the middle, no one's there to defend it in time. Snip again. Just a little opening, able to execute, nail a shot.
Rebel, it has been a fight in this match. Firefox, no goal. Habercamper, not even close, and this is a bad spot for Noble, but Renan creates an opportunity, and it's still a transition. Habercamper racing, and he beats Astromik to the ball. What hustle from Noble in a precarious situation.
I gotta say, you have to love how Noble tried to force that one to be an offensive chance for him, and the ability to recover after committing that hard to a half chance at best. You gotta respect, like you said, the hustle to get back and keep this one to a 1-goal game.
And Renan just stopping what would have been a guaranteed transition goal because two players, Noble, were in net. Now Firefox, the only one back to make the save, and he just gets that touch away from Snip, who has been shooting fire today on the blue half. 8 shots on net for Snip, and Jan might take another one for the team, but Rebel take the game, and we head to match point.
Oh boy, this was the tough one. This was a hard game for both teams. I mean, you can see Rebel, look at those shots. That's what, 13 over to 6 of Noble. And man, not all of those 13 were, you know, real zingers towards the goal, right? But the fact that they're starting to generate more pressure should give you a lot of concern if you're Noble, because you were the ones running the table early on in this series, and if that starts to fade back the other way, not entirely sure what they have to do. So if you're Noble, I think the real key to success is that increase in vision. Got to be willing to move the ball laterally across the pitch to your teammates, and the important thing, like we were talking about throughout this series, the support. You need to be out there for it.
The challenges were the most valuable part of that game in particular, the attrition we keep talking about, because there hasn't been a lot of space for team plays. Both rotations have been solid in cutting off passing plays and giving space when you can to allow the ball to be in a better spot for you or to just challenge the ball outright. Both teams have been meeting this need for what has been really fast transitions on both sides of teams.
And I am curious to see if Noble able to start making those transitions count for something, because they definitely need it at this point. On the verge of elimination, and Jan, Snip, and Astromech, like we said, don't count them out. They're lethal, and they're playing well enough to do it for sure.
Astromech especially has heated up as the match has gone on. He's had much cleaner control in the air, and it's created some opportunities where there might not have been one for Rebel. If he continues that cleanly play, then maybe Rebel can end this right now in 6. But Renan and company might have something to say about it. Snip, that's a perfect touch off the corner, and he beats Habercamper, and Firefox has to fly in on the spawn to save. Ooh, wow. Respect to Firefox on avoiding that demo and making that challenge happen. Completely killed Rebel's push. I thought after he got bumped out of the way, they'd still push it forward, but we're sitting here in Rebel territory now.
But for how long is the question? You can see Astromech really trying to demo Habercamper off that ball to give him a little bit of space, and Snip, that's great control there. Don't try and force that air dribble. Firefox, they absolutely crushed him. And Renan, love those clears. You cannot understate how valuable that touch was from Renan. It doesn't look like much, but when that ball gets smashed over your head and you know it's going off the backboard, you got to fight the camera. You got to fight, distance behind you can't see, and it takes a quality read to get those touches to safety.
Yeah, he's really been solid for that. But Jan actually gets an advantage off of a whiff. And it's been Noble who've been pushed on defense, but 3 shots materialized, and a shot comes from Noble there first, saved by Snip, and to commit, Jan and Astromech. Habercamper can take it back, but not the touch he wants. Don't want to have to fight a Rebel player every single time you get a touch on the ball, but here we are. Jan takes the boost away on the challenge, and Habercamper's not going to get back to it. Jan all over this ball, gets underneath on the flip, reset, off the crossbar, and in for Astromech. Rebel score first.
That's what we were talking about. Flip resets, they give you options, Jan. Look, it's the late turnaround too. He delays actually turning his car over to go for the flip reset because he knows as he's approaching that ball, it looks like he's trying to smash it off the backboard. And if he jumps over and instantly turns over, you know the defense is going to go out there and challenge him early. So Jan delaying turning over gives him that little bit of extra space to turn that one in out into the middle.
Who else other than Jan to try to start the offense for Rebel? Firefox, ooh. They've dropped a couple of those, and they've been fortunate to have a player in the vicinity of those drop balls. Habercamper freezes Jan on the back line, and it comes right into his bumper, just as he planned. Habercamper trying to follow that one, but Astromech will play it back to midfield.
There we go.
Oh, Firefox, clear lane! Oh, it's off the post, and the demo from Habercamper goes by the wayside.
How many is that this series from Noble? It's just off the crossbar, off the post. right on the cusp of getting him back into something.
What in the world was that?
Popped that one straight up, just missed the nose, and ended
Didn't
up
realize there was
having
a spring ability in Rumble. What's going on?
had to go all the way around, and here's a nice pass out of the middle. Firefox off the backboard. Habercamper onto the top left side, tie it up, and that's what you want to see out of Noble. It's so important, like we were talking about, get that ball sideways. Stop throwing it into the corner. You need to have people out there. This time there were. Takes all three of them to do it, but you're happy with that result.
Yeah, Noble able to hit every gap on that backboard against Rebel. Ooh, and the delay there on the kickoff to try to grab advantage for Noble, but it does work out. Renan gets the pass from Firefox hard off the backboard, and well, you're not going to get anything done with that angle, and it's a turnaround for Rebel. Snip has the set, but again, Renan's there for the clear, and no business as usual here for Noble on defense. That's hard. Ball, and Habercamper just straight up missed. Now Snip,
Ooh,
light
greedy.
touch, 2 for Jan, and he gets the win straight up over Firefox. Astromik can't get back down, but the shot is over the crossbar and in. Eventually they were gonna crack and Rebel break through.
I'm pretty sure that backboard has a dent in it from how many times it got hit right there. But well done. They just kept throwing it up on that backboard up on the left-hand side, and Noble could just never reach it to get it out to safety, and they just kept driving in this little semicircle, playing daisy chain with each other. They turn it in.
I mean, at some point, one of these teams is just gonna blow a hole through the field off that crossbar with how many times they've just nailed balls to it, and there's just no way through here for Noble. They're trying to push towards the box, but when they do get the pop that they want, nobody's in position to take advantage of it. Here's some space, though, as Noble gets started. Oh, Habercamper just cannot get down that first touch. And Astromik plays it around in midfield. Noble able to push forward. Time running out as Firefox launches. Basically a Hail Mary. Habercamper downfield again. Snip gets the clear. Rebel just stopping anything that Noble could throw at them. Here's another. Astromik gets in the way. Habercamper flying in, but it's weak. Renan gets in front of it, and this is disjointed, but they somehow find a way to make the puzzle pieces fit. But where's the shot on net? It never comes for Noble. Time is running out. They don't have the time to do this.
That's a good roll.
It's over if they don't get it in the net right now. Renan did it! Oh, no, he didn't! Rebel completely stole it! It's over! Rebel move to the lower final. How?
Snip. I mean, what was that save? How do you even, like, that? I was saying it, like, that was a great roll up the sidewall. Like, oh, they've got a chance with that one. They got it out into the middle. There wasn't the defender in sight. Like, they smashed that ball towards the goal, and Snip, guardian angel, man. That's the biggest save right there.
It didn't even look like he was in position. As soon as I saw Firefox get that touch and Renan is there, I'm like, that's it. He's going to split the defenders and it's GG. We're going to overtime. No, not at all. That was
How about just
insane.
kick it to the floor and we're moving on later?
Absolutely. Most times in Rocket League, I think offense does win, but for Rebel in this match, defense won this match. They were on a tight rope, and I do not know how they finessed it the whole way to a victory, but whew, that match against Novus might be a banger. I certainly can't wait for it, and you don't have to wait long for it. The lower final coming up next. Can Rebel continue their lower bracket gauntlet all the way to the grand final? Find out after the break.